Check 1, 2. Check, 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 check. Well, good morning and welcome to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I am your host, Frank Akam, and we are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Marcus Street in Corning. I can't thank you enough for joining us this morning. Yes, the lights, it's funny. We had the lights to where I thought they were perfect yesterday afternoon. It goes to show you when you have a big window in front of you, how the lighting can change. I'm not sure what brought this on out of nowhere, but we are working on it. We've got a few comments one comment from a viewer after yesterday's program. We have so much to get to this morning. After Christopher Wray decides to just throw more confusion at the assassination attempt of Donald Trump by saying, well, maybe it wasn't a bullet. Maybe it wasn't a bullet. Maybe it was shrapnel. Maybe it was a piece of glass. Just to, create more mistrust in our government agencies. The FBI has now admitted that it was indeed a bullet. So just doing a bang-up job, keeping people entrusting of our institutions. We also have, we got a couple updates here. Let me first read a comment from the viewer after yesterday's program. Just missed it. Reading this on the program yesterday. Can you imagine if Trump had a show called Men for Trump and another called White Women for Trump? They would be calling him sexist. Yes, they would call him racist. That's what Kamala Harris has been holding her campaign. I have a couple comments that some of the men made on the white dudes and I misread this person's comment, called white gals for Trump. Yeah, like white dudes for Harris. We're going to tell you a little bit about how that went. I did not watch it. I was not part of it. So we have to rely on reporting after the fact. Before that, Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, has been reportedly assassinated. Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh was assassinated in Tehran. Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard announced this morning. But nobody immediately claimed responsibility for the attack. Needless to say, Iran and Hamas blaming Israel for the assassination after Israel pledged to kill Haniyeh and other Hamas leaders over the terrorist group's October 7th attack on the Jewish state. They have vowed, Iran's supreme leader has vowed to avenge the death. You killed our dear guest in our house and now have paved the way for your harsh punishment. We consider it our duty to ask for the blood of our dear guest. That's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Al-Khamenei. So that's breaking news from early this morning that I wanted to pass along to you. We also have some things, I'm not sure how to segue them in. At the beginning, in the past, we had a lot of stories. We'd start the show with maybe political corruption, or sometimes we just go through different categories. Sometimes at the end of the show, we try to get through some things that have no real segue to them. So I don't know how to segue, but this was interesting news to me. Norah O'Donnell will leave the anchor chair at the last place CBS Evening News after the election. This comes amid expected cost cutting by parent company Paramount. O'Donnell, who took over the seat in 2019, re-upped her contract in 2022, despite speculation that she would be replaced. Her salary, however, has been rumored to be substantially slashed from the $8 million a year when she was first hired. The show's ratings have also been in the tank during her 5 years in the anchor seat, plunging roughly 25% and cementing the newscast firmly behind rivals at ABC and NBC. One CBS insider told the New York Post she deserves to lose her job. I have watched her broadcast in the past. Not overly, impressed or angry. I just a media update, as we talk about media bias so frequently, and we see ratings plummet very often when that bias is evident, making no real difference to outlets like CNN specifically, continuing that bias pace with no real concern for the repercussions of people tuning out. Now, you perhaps saw this, but I don't want to miss this opportunity. Again, starting the show with stories that just cannot be segued to, but this is very important, and I know a lot of people have been thanking Congressman Nick Langworthy for this. He penned a letter to the Biden administration highlighting the risk of Hardinge, of that unit closing, which you may have heard of that breaking story yesterday. This is what the congressman had to say. Hardinge is essential to the success of Elmira's economy, providing high-quality jobs and contributing to our community's stability and growth. The potential closure of its super precision unit would not only impact local employment, but also disrupt critical projects for the Department of Energy that are essential to our national security. In his letter to the Biden administration, Congressman Langworthy said the closure of this unit will lead to the loss of more than 50 skilled trade and manufacturing jobs focused on the production of cutting-edge, highly technical equipment and technology. It is imperative that the DOE works with Hardinge, to navigate these challenges and maintain the critical equipment and expertise supplied by the Super Precision Unit. I'm sure you can find the full letter at his website. So those are just a few quick stories I wanted to pass on before we got to the national news. And Harris and Trump. Let me ask you something before we get too deep into this, because I've got some polling numbers to start off with. It's early on. I mean, Harris has only been the presumptive nominee now for what? A week and a half? Not even, maybe. Are you getting tired of the quote-unquote weird label? We brought to you early on after it was assumed that she was going to be the nominee, that the label that they're going to throw at Trump, and specifically now Vance, and we're going to talk about Vance a little bit later on as well, but because the long nights are all for him, they're really going after him. But the campaign just keeps using this term weird, and they're trying to be, I don't know if hip's the right word. I don't know what word to use, but whether it's these Zoom meetings that the viewer had referenced at the end of yesterday's show that I read this morning, white dudes for Trump or white dudes for Harris with hats and Zoom meetings and like that, or whether it's calling everybody weird. A trend to me has gotten very old and dried up. It's kind of like when there's a saying on a sitcom that everybody starts copying and it just gets so tedious, and there's that one person who uses it, and that's when it's kind of officially dead, because it's reached its maximum peak, because that person perhaps is not only behind the curve, is also maybe someone you don't want to be associated with using it. Well, our governor, Kathy Hochul, has jumped on the weird bandwagon. The Democrat governor, Biden's one-time biggest fan, jumped into the fray just yesterday when asked about former President Donald Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance. Now, 3 years ago, I don't have to repeat all this, you know all this, but J.D. Vance talked about a bunch of childless cat ladies from the Democratic Party who effectively run this country. And this is what the left has been running on now for about a week and a half, but to the point, and the media specifically, to the point of tedium. Hochul said, "All I can do is shake my head. They've been called weird. They're incredibly weird. They're just beyond the pale in terms of what is being said." While it's a unique line of attack and an echo of what other nationally profiled Democrats have been saying, it's also indicative of Hochul's new role. The once ride-or-die Biden fan is now all in for Harris. In the past week, Hochul has recalibrated without skipping a beat to boost the vice president and echo the talking points, weird and all, of a presidential campaign that was once all about Biden only 9 days ago. Yes, it's only been 9, so this means 10 days, because this would have come out just yesterday. Boy, I don't know. Your thoughts on the weird attack. Does it stick? Does it play? It does amongst people that just don't like Trump. Not necessarily that are voting for Harris or whoever the Democrat is. It's just that they're voting against Trump. Maybe the weird line works. I hope, but I have my doubts, but I hope it goes away and we don't have to hear it constantly. Not because it's, I think, detrimental to Trump or Vance, just because it's getting so corny. And cringeworthy to me. What are your thoughts about the weird statements? You can comment on that this morning. We also have you seen the attacks on Vance? They are getting full-throated. We'll talk about that as well. What else should I ask you about if you want to start off? Oh, did you know this? Like I said, tough to segue this morning, not after this first break. But we may have brought this up on the show in the past. I think a viewer had sent this in. But there's a report from Axios that some states are looking to bring back cursive, teaching students cursive. Do you know that in New York, or that New York is not currently one of them? In New York, they do not teach cursive instruction any longer. The report mentions from Axios that Iowa is one of the latest states to adopt the requirement that cursive be taught, which some have said is an outdated skill in our world of keyboards and smart devices, says CBS Albany 6. So New York, I did not realize that, or if I did, I had forgotten it. Do you believe cursive should be brought back to the New York State schools and to the education programs? There you go. Starting off with a lot of different topics. That's just what you get here on Frankly Speaking. Everything you need to know as you get ready for work. So stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking as we're hitting the ground running right here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, stay with us.
Have you been unable to work for over a year due to a mental or physical disability?
Were you recently denied Social Security disability benefits? Great news. You may be eligible for money, back pay, relief.
If you've been pre-qualified and diagnosed with a recognized condition that prohibits you from working, our lawyers can file a claim to get your disability benefit.
Call us today and find out more.
Call now, 844-617-0440.
Isn't this important? Don't you want more energy? Now is the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselson's Hot Tub. Hesselson's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselson's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselson's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselson's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
I'm Marianne Kirk. I've lived here for 70 years, but I do fine right here in my house, and I want to be here as long as I can be. And I feel comfortable knowing that if something happened to me, someone would know because of the cameras that are installed in various spots in my home. That has been a wonderful gift to me to be able to have that security and that support from Full Circle America, and that's what it's all about.
What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a rechargeable lithium-ion power plant. So fast and so convenient. It's like the power of an air compressor in the palm of your hand. Look, you can inflate all 4 tires on a single charge. It has a built-in smart pressure digital sensor that gauges and automatically stops when the set tire pressure is reached. Easily inflate pool toys, exercise balls, and more. Call or go online now and get the complete Bullseye Pro inflation system for the factory direct price of just $79.99. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free, and we'll give you a 50% discount on a second one. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-977-4997. That's 1-800-977-4997, or go to Get.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We're broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. I had forgotten to mention that on the program this morning, we will be talking in the 7 o'clock hour to Matt Bryant and Mark Watts about the Chemung County Fair, which starts today. Don't miss out. I know we've talked with William Lee Golden from the Oak Ridge Boys, who will be there on Thursday. But I wanted to highlight some of the things that you need to know before you head to the fair. I was amazed to learn, because we recorded it yesterday because their schedule obviously so busy. admission if it's not one of the theme days. You know, I think today is Veterans Day, so if you're a veteran or currently serving, you get in free. There's Senior Day on Thursday. If you're a senior, you get in free. That's 55 and over. There's some other theme days. Saturday is completely free for everybody. And then, let's say you don't fit into one of those categories or you can't go Saturday, it's just $2 for admission. And if you look at their schedule online, I believe you could fill the whole day with some pretty exciting things. So keep that in mind, but we'll learn more about that. I saw some comments coming in late. We'll read those after the next break because I don't have time to do them live and I don't want to screw up. Now, according to The Hill and a Bloomberg News morning consult poll, Harris has pulled even with Trump among swing state voters. Now, I want you to keep in mind, again, we don't trust polls, and there's another poll that I'm going to read here in a moment because they're worth mentioning. Polls are very good for the media because they can use them. You know, they keep saying that, oh, my goodness, Kamala, this momentum that she has, this coming right out of the gate, and everybody loves her because, of course, the media is praising her. And then you can pull out polls like this and attempt to show more momentum. Remember, big money helped her with that originally, throwing all that money her way right out of the gate to say, wow, look at how this is going. She's a star. Vice President Harris has erased Trump's lead in 7 key battleground states roughly a week after becoming the likely Democratic nominee. But I will say this is still the honeymoon period. Now, that doesn't mean the media is going to turn on her. That doesn't mean Democrat talking heads are going to turn on her or fellow politicians. But the more people see, like yesterday, her rally yesterday, kind of the awkwardness, coming up with a kind of a Southern accent at point, and then you have, just like Hillary Clinton did, just like Joe Biden did, bringing out celebrities. In this instance, I believe a rapper to kind of be a performance before she got on stage. I don't know if that helps. I don't know if that hurts. It's not about the specific performer. I'm just saying when you have celebrities lecturing you, and you answer that question for me. When celebrities lecture you about who to vote for, does that persuade you? I know we joked at the time that as George Clooney goes, so goes the country. When George Clooney was calling for Biden to step aside, no, Biden did step aside, so maybe there's something to it. But does that persuade you? And I'm saying even if you're a Trump supporter, do any of the celebrities persuade you one way or the other? But I'm going to continue. A Bloomberg News morning consult poll showed Harris and Trump in a tight race across all battleground states, with 48% backing Harris and 47% saying they support Trump. The breakdown among individual states shows each candidate leading comfortably in one swing state, with the others closely contested. It is a notable shift from a poll conducted at the start of July that showed Trump leading Biden overall by 2 percentage points and Trump leading in 5 of 7 battleground states. Here we go. Get ready. I'm just showing you. This is the Hill. This is what we're dealing with because the media has to tell you, much like they have to tell you that there is no inflation, that the economy is doing great, that it's the greatest economy ever, and that there's no open borders and immigration isn't a problem, and the list goes on and on. They're going to tell you that there's momentum and excitement behind Harris. And I'm not saying there isn't some because Biden had become so bad that Democrats were even turning on him. But now they're pushing this idea that Harris is a better candidate than she was in 2019, that she's a better candidate than or politician, quote unquote leader, than she has been for the last 4 years. 3.5. The Bloomberg Morning Consult poll is the latest sign that Harris's campaign has significant momentum in the wake of Biden's decision not to seek re-election. Harris rapidly consolidated support among Democrats in the hours after Biden stepped aside. Would you say that Obama's 4-day later endorsement is rapidly consolidating support among Democrats? Because there's an argument to be made that the Obamas, did I say? I hope I said Obama. That the Obamas, that they're probably the biggest name in the Democrat Party and maybe wield the most power. So I don't know if maybe this is just a lot of wishful thinking that we're seeing in the media at this point. And she raised more than $200 million in her first week as a presidential candidate. Remember, big money talks in the Democrat Party. It was the donor money drying up that was one of the final straws that led Biden to not seek re-election. So big money has never had so much power in a presidential election. When Biden stepped aside and endorsed Harris, that we learn from anonymous sources, though, that Obama was not very happy that Biden didn't endorse her right out of the gate because he thought there were better candidates. Okay. But that's neither here nor there. So that's what happened. And the donor money floodgates opened back up so that they could give her this quote unquote momentum. Harris told donors on Saturday, let us be clear-eyed. We have a fight ahead of us. We got a fight ahead of us. And we are the underdogs in this race. But this is a people-powered campaign, and we have momentum. So the Hill being kind enough to use the same term, momentum, that Harris is using, to use the talking points, make it easier on the Harris campaign. But according to Nate Silver, now Nate Silver is beloved by Democrats normally. He's had some really good election nights where he's predicted very accurately. He's had some bad ones, as is the case with polls. But normally he's someone that Democrats look to. Well, even after Democrats dramatically moved to retop their presidential ticket and got an apparent jolt of momentum, famed election analyst and statistical guru Nate Silver still deems former President Donald Trump the favorite. His election forecast model gives Trump a 61.3% chance of prevailing in the Electoral College, while Harris is at 38.1%. Silver previously pegged Trump with a 65.7% chance of victory over Biden, so Harris has made a little momentum. But keep in mind, Nate Silver, who is saying this and reporting on this as an analyst, does not want Trump, and he's very vocal about that, does not want Trump to be president. Silver included a slew of polling averages that gave Trump slight advantages nationally and in most of the battleground states, albeit not in Wisconsin, where Harris was ahead. Now, the analysis showed Harris rapidly gaining ground on Trump in most polling. His model also gave Harris a 53.5% chance of winning the popular vote compared to Trump's 46.5%. I don't want to go through all the numbers. I know this gets really wonky. Because this article specifically tells you kind of how, and this is from the New York Post, how Nate Silver reaches his conclusions. My goodness, look at all these comments coming in. Keep those comments coming in. I'm going to read them after this next break that we're taking. But just keeping those numbers in mind as the media is talking so much about this momentum. Roughly speaking, the strategy of the Harris campaign should be to triangulate the strategy of Hillary 2016, the Harris 2020 primary campaign, and Biden 2024, and do the exact opposite. Silver tweeted out. That's a very good. I got confused there for a moment until I saw that very last line. Yes, take all those things, the Hillary 2016 campaign, Harris's own 2020 primary campaign, and Biden's 2024 campaign, do the complete exact opposite. Silver had been among the chorus of voices publicly encouraging, and quite early, Biden to step aside amid the mental health issues. He gained notoriety after successfully predicting 49 of the 50 states in the 2008 presidential election and was further vaulted to prominence by his predictions of Obama's 2012 victory. Back in 2016, his model favored Hillary Clinton to prevail against Trump, but in 2020, his latest forecast gave Biden an 89% chance of victory. Anyway, so they're going to be pushing polls. They're going to be pushing that she makes. Just be prepared for it. When she announces her VP, it's going to be the best VP pick ever. As they are attacking J.D. Vance is weird. We're going to talk a lot about that as well, but we've got a lot of comments coming in. Thank you so much. Let's take a short break, and we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking.
When it comes to fun, it's what we do. See All-American country star Aisling McBride perform live. Tickets are $30 and on sale now at Ticketmaster.com and the gift shop. Tioga Downs Casino Resort. Fun is what we do.
The Oak Ridge Boys American-made farewell tour. Celebrating 50-plus years of touring. The legendary Oak Ridge Boys. August 1st, the Chemung County Fair. Reserve seats on sale now at ChemungCountyFair.com or the Fair box office. The Oak Ridge Boys, American-made farewell tour.
Great drivers change lanes very fast, but with no outside mirrors. How come they don't crash? Introducing Angel View, the new wide-angle mirror that reduces blind spots. Angel View simply snaps over your car's rear view mirror. giving you a 160-degree view behind you. Ordinary rear-view mirrors are small and flat, but Angel View has a huge mirror with curved glass. This convex shape allows you to see both blind spots with one glance. And with our Pro Edition special coating, it's anti-glare at night. Get your Angel View now for just $19.99 through this special offer. But wait, this may be your last chance to get Angel View at this low price. There is a strict limit of 2 Angel Views per order while supplies last. Order now.
Call 1-800-869-5346. That's 1-800-869-5346. Or visit getangelview.com. So call 1-800-869-5346 now.
In a few words, Urkel, glasses, nerd. It pays to know your nerds. If you guys didn't get nerd with me sitting up here on this show, 25 words or less.
Weeknights at 5 and 5:30 on Big Fox.
Welcome to Frankly Speaking, talking to the people that affect your life, that affect all of our day-to-day lives. This is something you're not going to get anywhere else. We've got a lot to offer. There'll be a lot of news, local, regional, national, really the things that affect you. And I think you'll be glad that you tuned in. So think of it as radio on TV. Frankly Speaking, live, 2 hours long, starting at 6 a.m. on WYDC TV Big Fox. This is... And we are back. Welcome to Frankly Speaking, if you're just joining us. But we have so many comments to get to as we broadcast live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street Courting. With regards, this is from a viewer, with regard to Nora O'Donnell losing her job and $8 million a year salary. I have a personal question for you. What do you invest and or spend your $8 million a year salary? Just so you're aware, I don't make $8 million. I don't know what you would do. To me, these annual salaries blow your mind. I would agree, especially with someone that I'm not trying to knock her specifically because there's so many anchors. I mean, I remember what was it that Chris Cuomo was getting at the time, what News Nation offered him. I mean, these numbers are phenomenal, and it seems like unnecessary, I guess would be the word, to pay these people at that level for a job not really that well done. But continuing here, especially when the majority of the citizens earn so much less, of course, I mean, not even comparable. These large amounts are why the average American can't take their families to a major sporting event or concert without mortgaging their homes. Yes, when you look at the price they're paying some athletes or some of the same celebrities that lecture us. I remember Bruce Springsteen used to lecture us about the 1%ers when he was charging, what was like $150 for general admission, and that was 10 years ago. So yes, great point. Thank you. Another comment from a different viewer. What I don't understand is how the media gets away with the exact same word being used across all of the media platforms. A case in point was during the McCarthy scenario where everything was Republicans are in chaos. Chaos was used all the time. Now we're hearing weird used a lot because Harris is using it, or you hear momentum because they want everybody to believe, no matter what you experience or feel, that there is a momentum behind Harris. So yes, you're exactly right. Then again, when just about every narrative is used by the media, people become numb to what is truly examples of nationally controlled media narratives. Yeah, I'm not going to say you have to do your research, but many people go to one, maybe two outlets, maybe watch one evening news and then one maybe morning news, something like that. So if you're not paying attention and not looking at the CNNs of the world while also looking at the kind of the legacy medias, you're going to miss the fact that, why am I hearing this word over and over again? You're just maybe thinking it's just CNN saying it, or maybe it's just whatever outlet. I don't want to keep pointing out specific outlets, but I do believe people become numb to it. I think it's very much like when they kept telling us that the economy is doing really well. You become numb to it because you experience it, you witness it. But continuing, another comment from another viewer. Yes, we got a lot of comments coming in. Kamala Harris's honeymoon to end soon after she opens her mouth to questions. I think you're right. Here's my problem with that. Is she going to run like Biden from the basement? And I don't mean literally from the basement like Biden did. I mean, is she going to make sure that everything she does is either scripted, such as teleprompter speech like her rally yesterday, or if it comes to a point where she has to talk to the media, goes to friendly media outlets where she'll know what types of questions will be answered. Just like with the debate, Biden, of course, is mental acuity issues there, but Biden had to know, even if he wasn't prepared physically and mentally, that certain questions were going to be asked. So you already have your talking points on that. So Harris is going to go to friendly outlets to make sure that she doesn't get the tough questions. Now, I know she keeps pushing she wants to debate Trump. I think that's a lot of bluster. Much like Biden, they call for the debate, and then then Donald Trump called their bluff, and it was not ideal for them. I think that's what we're seeing with Harris, because right now she can say, hey, I wanted a debate, but Trump turned it down. Now, we know Trump's campaign say, hey, you're not the nominee yet. This is presumptuous to think that you're the nominee. We were hoping the Democrats would have a say over their own nominee and get to vote. But we will debate if you're the nominee type thing. So now she's using it as he's scared. It's weak cheese politics, but it is what it is. It's just what we're dealing with. But I would tend to agree with you. If it was she couldn't do a rally like Trump, especially in the early days where Trump was completely off teleprompter. Now I know he uses it for certain talking points, but we know when he goes off teleprompter. She's not going to do that. These speeches are all going to be very well prepared because she has that penchant. She has that tendency to go into what is being called word salad, which, if you've noticed, the media has now stopped talking about, because now she's a great candidate. She's better than we could have ever imagined. She's got the momentum. I keep posing this question, and I understand if it's not maybe something comfortable that a Harris voter wants to talk about or a Democrat voter wants to talk about, but it blows my mind that there aren't more people upset in the Democrat Party that they never got a say at their nominee. Kamala Harris never, ever receiving a single vote, kind of combine them a little bit, single vote for presidential nominee for the Democrat Party. I would think that would outrage you, especially after witnessing Biden or Bernie having it stolen from him from Hillary because of the powerful elites. But apparently Democrats don't mind their own party's elites telling them what to do. Anyway, I know I went on a tangent on that comment. Next comment. Oh, thank you for the comic strip, to the viewer that said the comic strip. Yes, saying that her grandnieces, like the children in the comic strip in the paper the other week, can't read cursive. Another sad commentary on our society. Thank you. And I said her, I don't know why I said that. Viewer, I should have said. Another comment from Ken. I have had to sign my name literally thousands of times during my life. Without cursive, how is that done? Printing your name? Maybe it's like the old Westerns. You just put your X. You put your mark. Yeah, I mean, like you said, and this is Ken again, your cursive signature is unique to you and is much harder to copy than printing is. I guess it's another step on the path to make everyone just part of the crowd. That could very well be. I don't know why they got rid of it. The excuse is because you can do everything on keyboard now, I guess. Kind of like probably math is suffering because, hey, you've got your phone, you've got your calculator. I don't have an answer for that one, Ken, but if you're just tuning in, you wonder where that came from. New York State does not teach cursive in the schools, and some schools are demanding it, or some states are demanding it come back, like Iowa. So that's where that comes from, and I asked what your thoughts on that were. So there we go. All right, let's get back to a couple stories before we go to break. I saw a few more comments coming in. We'll try to get to as many of them as we can this morning. We just have so much to cover. Kamala Harris will hold a Philadelphia rally with her VP pick on Tuesday. The event will be held on Tuesday in Philadelphia, and Harris is expected to announce her selection by that date. That is according to Politico. Following the unveiling, Harris and her vice presidential pick will campaign in 7 swing states in 4 days. And that's an impressive schedule, but again, going to be completely scripted. These aren't the old Trump rallies that were off the cuff. She'll be traveling to western Wisconsin, Detroit, Michigan, Raleigh, North Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, Phoenix, Arizona, and Las Vegas, Nevada after the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania event. That's, again, according to Politico. A lot of speculation on who she'll pick. And one of those points of speculation is that if she's having her first rally in Philadelphia, perhaps it's Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. Could be. I'm just giving you the news. Just passing along the news. They are saying this Walls is a rising star in the Veep Stakes. We'll talk about him when we come back, but I've got to take another break because I just know we are going to run late this morning. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to be talking about the Chemung County Fair. You don't want to miss that. And then tomorrow, we're going to have guests on from the upcoming performance or production of Into the Woods by the Cuca Lake Players Incorporated, and that'll be at Haverling High School Auditorium in Bath starting on Thursday. We'll tell you more about that tomorrow. So stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Attention, Elmeron may lead to vision loss.
If you have suffered vision problems after taking Elmeron to treat bladder pain, call the Hearn Law Firm. Elmeron may be responsible for your vision problems, and you may deserve compensation for your injuries.
If you took Elmeron and now have vision problems, call the Hearn Law Firm at 888-308-3866 right now. You could find out if you qualify in less than 2 minutes. Call 888-308-3866 for your free case review.
When it comes to best subs, wings, strombolis, and calzones, nobody does it better than Picnic Pizza. Picnic Pizza has been serving the Twin Tiers for over 40 years. With 2 convenient locations to serve you, Horseheads and Big Flats, you can dine in, carry out, or we'll deliver in a 5-mile radius. We offer everyday in-house specials like a family pack, 1 large pizza, 1 dozen wings, and 1 quart of soda. Having a party? How about a party pack? 1 sheet pizza, 2 dozen wings, and 2 quarts of soda. Picnic Pizza, the best darn pizza in the area.
You need it, but they're bulky, awkward, and never put the breeze exactly where you want it. Introducing my Foldaway Fan from Bell & Howell, the compact cordless fan that unfolds into your own personal wind machine and extends to nearly 4 feet high. Its lightweight, portable design makes it easier than ever to have a targeted breeze anywhere. Plus, this whisper quiet fan has 3 separate speeds, making personalizing your comfort a breeze. My Foldaway Fan's rechargeable lithium battery lasts up to 10 hours, and it has enough power to blast a breeze to the other side of this room. Its unique telescoping stand allows you to place it on the floor, so the breeze will reach anywhere with ease. Then the whole thing folds away for easy storage. Get my Foldaway Fan from Bell & Howell for just 2 payments of $19.99. It comes with the USB cable to make charging fast and easy. My Foldaway Fan. Call or click now.
Call 1-800-349-4156. That's 1-800-349-4156 or go to myfoldawayfan.com.
The Big's website is here now. WYDCTV.com. Local and national news that keeps you informed and involved. WYDCTV.com. Today's weather, up to date and in your town. WYDCTV.com. Sports news, local events, and health stories that affect you. WYDCTV.com. The Big Fox website. Your news here now. WYDCTV.com.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking. We have a chatty morning ahead of us. This is great. We're getting so many great comments. I love this about the program. If you're new to the show, you can see the number on the bottom of the screen. You can feel free to reach out at any time. Let's get to them. From a viewer, most will be scripted in reference to Kamala Harris's campaign tactic and her speeches. She'll try to go off script, and that's where she'll trip up. Yes, and I think you'll see that maybe not at rallies as much, but with the media. Not great at answering a question. And remember, just go back to her 2020 campaign. It was really disastrous. She never made the Iowa. The only claim to fame is that she called her now boss a bigot during the debate, and that gave her a little momentum for a very short period of time. Okay. Next up, different comment. I don't think it's a good idea for her to debate Trump at all. She doesn't have enough ammunition to come at him with all that will overshadow her own shortcomings, unless she follows the same script as all the other ones, like calling him a felon. That's going to be her big talking point, the weird thing we've already mentioned. That is going to be a big talking point, because she says now, even though she used to run from her being a prosecutor because of so many people's lives that were so greatly affected by her marijuana convictions, so she used to try to ignore that. Now she's saying she's the prosecutor and he's the felon. I've seen people like him in the past. Yeah, that's what she's going to try to hit on. I don't think if they debate, and maybe she is just bluster right now and doesn't really want to debate him or will back out. Because remember, I've said from the beginning, it is very easy for a Democrat to back out of a debate with Trump. All they have to say, especially her, who only has 4 months to really campaign and have a presidential campaign, she really only has to say, I don't want to give him the platform. So if he says something that the Democrats make into a scandal, which they always do, they're back in that mode, I could see that being the case. I'm not making any predictions saying there is going to be one or there isn't, because last time I didn't think there was going to be one. Not going to make a prediction. I'm just saying if this is waiting for Trump to call her bluff, I think she can get out of it. And with only 4 months, I think she could also make the argument, hey, we've got a campaign to talk directly to the people. I'm not giving this guy a platform, etc. Next comment from a different viewer. Ken says, as usual, the Democrats project their deficits on the other side. If someone wants to see weird, they should look at the cast of characters the Democrats have DEI'd into the federal government. Next comment. Thank you, Ken. Next comment from a different viewer. I know a few Democratic voters that are upset about Kamala ended up the almost certain nominee. I guess we'll see in November how much it matters to the voters. I don't think it matters to most Democrats because I don't think they were voting for Biden anyway, and I don't think they're voting for Harris. They're just voting not Trump. So, yes, they may have this kind of negative feeling that, oh, I didn't want it to be her, and oh, I don't like the power brokers in the Democrat Party telling me who I have to vote for, but I can't let Trump win, so we'll complain about it to him next time. But right now, we're going to go in and pull that lever for Harris. That's my thoughts. And the fact that they don't talk about in the media or the Democrat Party really how important she was to the cover-up about Biden's mental health, that's something they're greatly ignoring, isn't it? So they're not talking about the fact that she's never once got a vote for president, the presidential nominee for the Democrat Party. Never once. They don't talk about the fact that she was a part of this cover-up to put Biden up for another 4 years. And if he won another 4 years after seeing that debate performance, be the leader of the free world. I think it's terrifying enough that he's the leader of the free world for the next 6 months. But the media does not want to bring that up because right now they will do nothing to negatively affect Harris's momentum, perhaps the best candidate to ever run. Another comment from a viewer, and thank you for this. Anytime there's breaking news, please pass it on. Though I did already mention this. A Hamas leader was killed, says one viewer. Yes, we talked about this at the very top of the program. And if you are just tuning in, it is breaking news. The Hamas leader, Ismail Haniyeh, was assassinated in Tehran. Of course, they are blaming Israel and threatening Israel with retaliation. That is, Iran is. So there is that breaking news story. I mentioned Wells is the rising star in the Harris Veep stakes because he's been out attacking Trump and Vance, probably calling him weird. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has seen his national profile skyrocket as he becomes one of his party's most vocal critics of the GOP in the wake of the presidential race's shakeup. He has been calling J.D. Vance, quote, weird, prompting other high-profile Democrats to seize on the same attack line. Oh, was he the first one? Yeah, he snagged national attention when he labeled Vance weird. So he's the one that started all this mess. That started all the obnoxious, if you're just tuning in, Governor Hochul's starting to use it, that everything's weird. Sounds like a teenager or younger, what do they call them, tweens? But did you also see that Walz, Governor Tim Walz, the same guy who started the weird line, was on the White Dudes for Harris call on Monday. And he told the White Dudes for Harris, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person, I hope you're paying attention. I'm going to start from the beginning. Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. Okay. As Manhattan Institute senior fellow Ela Shapiro wrote, you want to talk about weird? That comment's weird. Neighborliness killed members of my family, Carol Markowitz joked. Ron Ryan James Gurdusky said one person's gulag is another person's vacation home. Oozing of desperation from the man who let Minneapolis burn for days, said Minnesota gubernatorial candidate Mike Murphy. That's a very good point. So socialism equals neighborliness. Shows how far we've fallen that the governor of one of our states feels free to say this. Taking people's stuff at gunpoint doesn't make you a good neighbor, said Nate Madden, advisor to Chip Roy. So socialism, one person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. Let's take a short break on that note. That is Minnesota Democrat Governor Tim Walz, who's on that short list for VP, and that was as recent as Monday on the White Dudes for Harris campaign call. Okay, stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselson's Hot Tub. Hesselson's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselson's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselson's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselson's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
It's Western. It's Reese Ranch Rodeo. Looking for a new exciting adventure? Join the cowboys and cowgirls at Reese Ranch Rodeo. Fun for the whole family. Kids 5 and under are free. Gates open at 2 p.m. Rodeo starts at 7. Enjoy great music, great food, cold drinks, and classic rodeo fun. For event dates and ticket prices, visit ReeseRanchRodeo.com. Reese Ranch Rodeo, 4115 Oldfield Drive, Corning, next to Fair and Ball Campgrounds.
Something with a diamond in it.
Diamondback rattlesnake.
It's in the name. Name a low-calorie food you might make your edible underwear out of.
Salmon.
Watch it weeknights. Share it the next day.
Wild caught Norwegian teriyaki.
Share in the fun. Weeknights on Family Feud.
7 and 7:30 on Big Fox.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking. Broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Coming up in the next hour during the Steuben Senior Services Fund section of our program, we'll be talking to Matt Bryant and Mark Watts from the Chemung County Fair, which starts today, so don't miss that. Also at the White Dudes for Harris campaign event, where we just mentioned that on the short list for VP, Minnesota Democrat Governor Tim Walz said, one person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. Pete Buttigieg, also considered to be on the VP list, said that abortion makes men more free in America during the White Dudes for Harris Zoom call. Quote, I'm so glad she, meaning Harris, has made freedom the theme of her campaign because I think in so many ways that's at stake. Of course, women's freedom is Exhibit A after Donald Trump demolished the right to choose. But of course, men are also more free in a country where we have a president who stands up for things like access to abortion care. Men are more free when the leader of the free world, the leader of this country, support access to birth control and to IVF. Okay, there you go. I don't know if you missed it. Maybe you attended the White Dudes for Harris event on Monday. If you did, I'd love to hear from you. Kamala Harris is expected to be the lone Democrat presidential candidate ahead of the party's official vote. Many have speculated that maybe someone would jump in the fray, but no other major Democrat has made any indication they plan to seek the party's nomination to take on Trump in November. But the DNC's announcement officially clears the path for the vice president to run unopposed for the nomination. Kamala Harris is the only presidential candidate who has qualified to run for the Democrat presidential nomination, according to the DNC. Now, how is she qualified? Out of curiosity, because she received the delegate vote? Because your party, not a single person in your party voted for her, except for the delegates in your party system. So again, we're going to be lectured about the threat to democracy. I mean, I don't know. If I were a Democrat, this would make me so outraged, and yet there's no indication that there is that outrage out there. The party's national convention delegates will vote to officially ratify the nominee in a new online voting procedure adopted by the party last week. Voting will begin Thursday and finish on Monday, adding that votes for anyone other than Harris will be tallied as present. So they won't even mention maybe other names. Wow, that's interesting. And of course, it's online, so we don't even get to see that. That's wonderful. There's no sense. There's absolutely no sense with making this an open and transparent situation after you keep the president's mental decline silent and hidden, still pushing him to run. And then when you see his polls are plummeting and he's no longer electable, not about his health, he's no longer electable, you boot him out through big money and through the people that were supposedly his friends. Boot him out, install Harris to be the nominee without a single vote from her own party. And now it's all being done online. And if you vote for somebody else as a delegate, you're just marked present. Tell us a little bit more about democracy. I'd love to hear about it. We've got a few things more here about Harris. I do have to play catch up because we've had so many tangents, but we've had so many great comments as well. Keep those comments coming in. You see the number on the bottom of your screen. Feel free to write in at any time. I'll try to get to as many as I can. We're gonna, in the next hour, we're not just gonna talk about Harris, because I'm really fascinated what your thoughts are on J.D. Vance, because the media is in full protection of Harris mode and full attack mode on Vance. What they'll do is say whoever Harris picks is the greatest VP pick of all time. But they are going after Vance full-throated with everything they can throw at him in the media, in the Harris campaign, and that's where the whole weird thing started. So what are your thoughts? I've seen, and just to warn you, I've seen some people that, how about this way of putting it, identify as Republican, some people that identify as Republican, that they're saying it's not too late, Trump, get rid of Vance. And I'm hoping the Republicans do this so much as a party, but I'm hoping that does not become a common refrain. So what are your thoughts on Vance? We can talk about that when we come back. Stay with us. Oops, some waves coming in. Hold on. We've got to take a short break. And then we're going to wrap up hour number 1 of a show that's going very quickly. So stay with us.
If you or a loved one regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, you may be entitled to significant financial compensation.
I've used hair relaxers for years. I had no idea they could cause cancer.
Chemical hair relaxers and straighteners have been linked to serious conditions, including several types of cancer.
How do I know if I have a case?
Call 844-292-6222 and consult with one of our attorneys to find out if the products you used are part of the lawsuit. Your eligibility will also depend on how often you use these hair products and your specific cancer diagnosis. If you regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, call us now. Call 844-292-6222.
How much will it cost to talk to an attorney?
There is no fee unless we win your case. Call 844-292-6222 for your free case review.
I'm Marianne Kurt. I've lived here for 70 years, but I do fine right here in my house, and I want to be here as long as I can be. And I feel comfortable knowing that if something happened to me, someone would know because of the cameras that are installed in various spots in my home. That has been a wonderful gift to me to be able to have that security and that support from Full Circle America, and that's what it's all about.
And we are back with Frankly Speaking, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Let's go to some more viewer comments. Got a great group of comments this morning. Weird is in the eye, and I'm assuming this is not an autocorrect, but if it is an autocorrect, it's hilarious. Weird is in the eye of the beer holder instead of beholder. But I wonder if that's autocorrect. But I like beer holder better. Weird is in the eye of the beer holder. Kamala tries to relate like she's talking at a cocktail party instead of to the American people like a presidential candidate. I think it's going to make her come across as weak, but it'll be quite a relief to not see her squint her eyes in the camera and talk like she's a whispering bully like Joe did. Another comment from a viewer. She's not very smart at relating to people or government management. Yeah, she is. She's always struggled with relating to people, going back to to her original presidential run, where again she received no votes to be the nominee. She does come off. I know the media's tried this for so long to call her kind of the fun aunt, the fun, wacky aunt that we all know. I don't think she comes across that way. That's what they try with some of her, trying to be hip with some of the slang that she uses, or young kids slang that she uses. I know they try to push that, but I think the main reason Democrats didn't want her from the beginning and why they kept Biden in there so long is because she isn't that relatable. She's not necessarily that likable. So that's why from the beginning they've been, wow, so many more comments coming. That's why I think from the beginning they've tried to kind of rewrite. Again, the media is perfect. Democrats are perfect at it. Never mind what you're seeing. Believe what we're saying. And that's what James Bovard says. Do I have time for this? We'll see. Camouflage, he calls it. Democrats race to expunge the evidence of Harris's leftist history. Vice President Harris last year heartily condemned any effort to, quote, erase and even rewrite the ugly parts of our history. But she didn't mention that the ugly parts of her own record would be exempt from such a rewrite ban. Now a tidal wave of camouflage has engulfed the presidential contest as Harris's entire career is being miraculously expunged, or at least purified, in a craven evidence-rigging stampede by media outlets and supposedly nonpartisan scorekeepers. Harris plainly ascended to the nomination thanks to a de facto coup of Democrat Party kingpins and donors. Yet the Washington Post on Sunday hailed these moves as, quote, the most spectacular transformation in recent American political history. A flashbang midsummer swap at the top of the presidential ticket. That was an actual quote from the Washington Post, folks. Perhaps the paper should change its motto to democracy dies as a spectator sport, given its effusive praise for the Democrats' willingness to sideline their own primary voters. They never liked their primary voters. It goes back to Bernie and before Bernie. But anyway, in 2019, Harris was hell-bent on a national fracking ban that could have crippled U.S. energy production. When Trump bashed her on that last week, she recanted, but Politico headlined its coverage with Harris campaign pledges she won't ban fracking after Trump accusation, implying that it was Trump slandering her. Centrist Democrat is the label of the moment for Team Kamala apologists, and even supposedly neutral sources are falling in line. GovTrack, one of the most frequently quoted sources in Washington, boasts on its webpage its mission of tracking the U.S. Congress to make our government more open and accessible, except for when the tracking could cost the Democrat votes. In 2019, GovTrack labeled Harris, quote, the most liberal senator, further to the left than even Bernie Sanders. But this month, you're never going to believe it, they deleted the webpage that says so. A single year was not sufficient to create a reliable portrait of the activity of legislators, they declared. Perhaps Harris was taken hostage in 2019 as an imposter, casting Senate votes for endless budget-busting boondoggles in her name. Are we also obliged to forget that Kamala's hard-left position helped wreck her gold-plated first presidential run, which failed to win a single Democrat delegate? In 2020, as looters and arsonists ravaged Minneapolis, Harris urged people to donate to the Minnesota Freedom Fund to help post bail for those protesting on the ground in Minnesota. Her appeal effectively exonerated anyone committing violence or other crimes, portraying them as worthy of speedy release from jail. But the bail fund paid to release rapists and child molesters and future murderers, not just looters. Yet a CBS News analysis last week absolved Kamala of all blame because she did not personally donate to the fund, no matter that her tweet urging contributions to the fund was shared more than 15,000 times. And so far, the biggest height of all of this is to suggest that she isn't Biden's border czar. USA Today, CNN's administration left office, despite the online videos and all the facts. Republicans will never be able to make a case against someone who was an innocent bystander to her own career. What a great way of putting that. James Boulevard. All right, we are out of time. We were out of time about a minute and a half ago. So first hour is through. Stay with us for hour number 2. Our guests, Matt Bryant and Mark Watts from the Chemung County Fair, and plenty left to talk about, so you won't want to miss a minute.
Have you been unable to work for over a year due to a mental or physical disability?
Were you recently denied Social Security disability benefits? Great news. You may be eligible for money, back pay, relief.
If you've been pre-qualified and diagnosed with a recognized condition that prohibits you from working, our lawyers can file a claim to get your disability benefit.
Call us today and find out more.
Call now. 844-617-0440.
The Oak Ridge Boys American-made farewell tour. Celebrating 50-plus years of touring. The legendary Oak Ridge Boys. August 1st, the Chemung County Fair. Reserve seats on sale now at ChemungCountyFair.com or the Fair box office. The Oak Ridge Boys American-made farewell tour.
Hour number 2 of Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio, and I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We've had a great show with so many comments. Keep those comments coming in. I asked a question, what you think about the attacks on J.D. Vance. Are you like... Again, the way I worded it, some people that identify as Republicans in the media are suggesting that it was a mistake or that Trump should drop J.D. Vance, and we're hearing from others that are saying this is a perfect pick. So what are your thoughts? I would also ask, just because we had a little fun at the beginning of the program, if you're just joining us, New York State does not teach cursive writing anymore. Should they? Okay. Comments from viewers. Other than seeing him during the RNC, I don't know Mr. Vance. I was, however, impressed with the way he handled himself. I did too, and I will say it seemed like a little bit of a bonus to me that if his wife becomes involved and gives speeches. Now, I'm not saying that she is. I don't know the answer to that, but I thought she did such a wonderful job explaining her husband. But we knew even back then that they were going to try to portray back then, what was it, a month ago? Back then they were already calling him weird. That's the label they're putting on him. And I think one of the reasons they started that is because his wife did such a great job of explaining who he was and showing that personal dynamic. So I'm really hoping she gets on the campaign trail, but she may not, and that's not really her job at all. But thank you for that comment. Another comment from a different viewer. I still think the Democrats will pull that fast switcheroo. I haven't heard switcheroo in a while. But then again, Harris can be useful and played as Biden has been for 3.5 years. They will coach her and pull her off the stage when questioned. No substance there. They're going to coach her, yeah. I mean, everything's going to be teleprompter. Everything's going to be very scripted. Now, the debate raises a big question. If they do debate, I think there's questions there. I know she's campaigning on it right now that she wants to debate. I think Biden said similar, and Trump called the bluff. Will Trump adhere to all the same rules that Biden put forth? Which actually ended up playing in Trump's favor, by the way. But, Biden was pushing it, and then Trump eventually called the bluff and said, okay, I'll do it. I'll take any time, any place, anywhere. Harris will probably put more stipulations in hopes that he backs down. Will Trump give in? Will Trump... these are just mental mind games that we can all play. I will say that I don't think he should give in as much as he did last time. Though Harris is now using the fact that she's not the nominee yet, and so they said, we're not ready to debate. We don't want to assume you're the nominee when it's still up to the delegates, and now she's using that as a campaign point that he's scared or something. By the way, I mentioned that article in the last hour. That was by James Boulevard. It was Camouflage. Democrats race to expunge the evidence of Harris's leftist history. And they are doing a great job. Oh, no, she wasn't a border czar. They're not talking about the Biden administration, quote-unquote, legacy and what they've left us with. They're not talking about her past. It is now 100% momentum. It is 100%. She's an amazing candidate. Having absolutely no problem that she never received one vote from her own party, saying that it was actually a magical thing that we witnessed. The New York Post editorial board said it's official. The Biden-Harris border crisis is bringing Mideast terror home. As revealed exclusively by the New York Post, 3 Palestinian migrants with possible links to terror groups illegally entered the country in July. One of the trio had a photo on his phone showing a masked man brandishing an AK-47. The October 7th attacks by Hamas triggered widespread fears that the Palestinian terror campaign might spread to the U.S., given the country is now somewhat strained, also thanks to Biden-Harris' relationship with Israel. This ugly news suggests those fears were justified. We don't have time to get through all of this, but the idea is you can thank Biden and Kamala Harris for rising border terror threats, something that we've talked about a lot on this program, something that's concerned us for so long. When you have an open, porous border, it's only natural that terrorists will try to exploit that. Now they're saying, if you haven't been paying attention, I don't blame you if you haven't. I mentioned this in the 6 o'clock hour, that the FBI, after Christopher Wray, just wanted to start up more conspiracy theories. Because, if there's one thing, the FBI is just so darn trusted right now, and there's just so much confidence in the job that they're doing with the lawfare and the weaponization of the FBI, that he wanted to make sure the conspiracy theory continued, that maybe Trump wasn't shot, maybe it was shrapnel. Now that downplays the fact that he was shot at, clearly. So even if you accepted that at face value, that's why they're censoring the photos of that fateful day, because they know it's impactful. They know it resonates with people. That you call somebody a guy a threat to democracy for the last 4 years, and it leads to political violence, all while the party lectures us about the norms and the institutions. So anyway, the FBI, if you didn't see, the FBI has admitted that it was a bullet yesterday, but also and again, it's not really. I don't want to get into that yet. I want to wrap up on Harris, and then we'll talk a little bit about Secret Service. Kamala Harris, this is from the New York Post editorial board as well. Kamala Harris's $5 billion green bus failure shows she can't even handle the small stuff. In 2022, Harris was front and center, screaming about how wonderful it was that the feds were poised to burn about $5 billion over 5 years to build electric school bus fleets as part of the 2021 infrastructure package that Biden signed into law. Now, fewer than 7% of the districts initially set up with the program have actually completed the switch to electric vehicles. Huge numbers of districts have withdrawn from the program because their school boards opposed it or because of the costly infrastructure upgrades necessary to change the buses. The project never made fiscal sense. As one superintendent put it, this only makes economic sense if the bus is paid for with a grant like we received. The cost is so prohibitive that the cost savings are not worth it. And I know we talked about this a lot, about the school buses, especially with Assemblyman Phil Palmisano. So I don't want to get too much into this. I just wanted to mention this, that, that the bipartisan infrastructure law, that you want to talk about a waste of money. I don't want to talk too much about the bipartisan infrastructure law, but I mentioned this quickly with Assemblyman Phil Palmisano. I went on a trip to Albany, and it was so fascinating to see those, those big metal signs on the side of the road that maybe say next exit here, or, they're not cheap, right? I saw at least 2, maybe 3 on my way to Albany in construction zones that said this stretch of road being worked on thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure law, signed by President Biden or something like that. The money that was wasted. But anyway, Kamala Harris was part of that $5 billion green bus failure that will continue to be a failure as they try to push through that initiative. Okay, now let's move on. Well, after this break, we're going to move on to Donald Trump, his campaign. There's so much to get to. Also, your comments. But before that, No, I'm good. No. We're going to talk to Matt Bryant and Mark Watts, but not coming up next. We will be talking to them about the Chemung County Fair in just a moment. But stay with us. We'll be right back with your comments and a lot more to discuss, this time about President Trump. So stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Our water's better tasting, it's better for the planet.
That's great, sir. Can I take your order?
Oh, number 3.
At Culligan, we get that most people don't think about water like we do, and that's okay. You see, when we install our drinking water and softening systems, we're thinking about filtering contaminants and the minerals that make water hard. So you can just think about softer, cleaner, better tasting water. At Culligan, we think about your water, so you don't have to.
Call today to schedule your free water test.
You can tear your old statements and bills and simply toss those old bottles of pills. But thieves use this information to steal your identity. Don't be a victim. Get the ID Police, the new ink roller that encrypts all your old documents. So before you throw it out, just roll it on and your information is gone. Look, an identity thief can use simple information to get access to your credit card. Then you're responsible for the bills. But ID Police permanently prints a unique encryption graphic that makes it impossible to read through, both on the front and through the back, even if the paper is held up to the light. And it works on all forms of paper, matte or glossy. Paper shredders are slow and always jam, but roll with ID Police and you're in control. Watch again. Here's a bank statement with your name and account number. Now, one easy roll and all your personal information is blocked. Name and address? Blocked. Credit card number? Blocked. Phone, electricity, and gas bill? Now they're all safe to toss in the trash. So relax. Even your medical information is safe with the ID Police. And those applications or pre-approved checks make you vulnerable too. So block it out before you throw it out. And thwart any thief with the ID Police. Order now and get your ID Police for as low as $9.99 and get free shipping too. That's right, free shipping. This offer is not available on Amazon, but it is available online or on the phone. So call or click now to get your ID Police for as low as $9.99 with free shipping. Take control with ID Police on patrol. Order now.
Call 1-800-731-2964. That's 1-800-731-2964 or visit getidpolice.com. So call 1-800-731-2964 now.
And we are back with Frankly Speaking, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Coming up in a moment, the Steuben Senior Services Fund section of our program where we'll learn all about the Chemung County Fair. First, from a viewer. I think they don't like Vance because it's a normal person. He's not one of the elite. I love to hear him speak, and you're exactly right. There is a piece by Holly Redder. And I've also got to say, thank you for all the comments this morning. Maybe if you're just tuning in, you think, wow, that's a low amount of waves. We've had so much to say. The waves have been pushed to the side. Though I did receive a good amount of waves here, 6. Those are all over text. But it's just been great comments. But to that viewer's point, Holly Redder says, with Trump's choice of J.D. Vance, he sent a message to millions in the forgotten class. And this is it's quite a lengthy piece. And she goes through and points out specific case studies, if you will, of people, of these forgotten Americans. You know, Trump talked about it so often in his rallies back in 2016, the forgotten men and women that resonated with so many people. When Trump chose J.D. Vance, chills went down my spine. Now, Holly Redder represents District 27 in the Missouri State Senate. She said, because I knew it sent a message to those from backgrounds like mine that anything is possible and where they are is not where they need to stay. Trump signaled to Americans across the country exactly who he was paying attention to, the forgotten class. For my entire lifetime, White House wannabes have promised that they would be a president for the common man, a president for the middle class, for the low-income class. But never before has one proved it quite like Donald Trump has. For most with backgrounds like mine, the American dream feels like just that, a mirage, out of our reach. But under Trump's first presidency, those dreams felt more like reality. We experienced the lowest unemployment in my lifetime, while income rose for nearly every demographic in the country and businesses were helped to thrive. It was a billionaire from New York that became the greatest champion the middle class has ever seen. Today, I serve as a state senator in Missouri. Every day, I meet with voters who feel forgotten. With his vice presidential pick, Donald Trump signaled to my constituents and to millions of others, no more. In Washington, D.C., a town full of career politicians and trust fund babies, Donald Trump picked the scrappy kid who grew up below the poverty line and created a life for himself and his family. Someone who pulled himself out, but didn't forget where he came from. Come November, we won't forget it either. I thought that was an important point to piggyback off what that viewer said. There are some, as Bill Press at the Hill wrote on VP pick, time for Trump to take a mulligan. There's others. We're going to get to this attack on Vance, because remember, we don't know who Harris is going to pick yet. We're going to know on Tuesday, because it sounds like that she'll be voted, have the official nomination through that virtual roll call. Again, that we won't get to witness. Works out great. No one gets to see the transparency of the Democrat Party, as no Democrat voter gets to vote for Harris, or for anyone for that matter. It's just the delegates, and you can't say behind closed doors or smoke-filled rooms, but all online. And she'll have the nomination by Monday, it looks like. And then Tuesday, she'll make her announcement in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for VP. She will have picked perhaps the smartest VP pick of all time. The most politically solid, politically brilliant picks for VP of all time. Just be prepared. We don't know who it's going to be yet, but the people writing those articles already don't know. It'll be a fill in the blank for who she picks. But some speculating, because it's in Philly, it could be Shapiro. But having said that, she is going to make the greatest pick of all time. Just going to shore up so many votes that where maybe she was lackluster. So the momentum stays. The momentum keeps going. You can write all this stuff ahead of time. And now Vance is public enemy number one. The bias in the media is so prevalent, as you know. But yes, she'll have picked the best vice presidential pick of all time. That's going to shore up so many voters in swing states. And the momentum is just rolling. Can it ever end? We've got to take a break, because when we come back, we're going to be talking with Matt Bryant and Mark Watts from the Chemung County Fair, which opens today. We'll find out all about it when we come back during the Stu Benz Senior Services Fund section of our program, as we broadcast live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. Stay with us.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and leave those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselsen's Hot Tub. Hesselsen's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselsen's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselsen's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselsen's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselsen's.
Your wallet is always in danger. Criminals can scan and hack your information without you even knowing. Worse yet, it's bulky and so disorganized. But not anymore, because Slim is in. Introducing Slim Mint, an ultra-thin RFID blocking wallet that keeps your cards and cash truly protected. And now may be your last chance to get it for a low price. Slim Mint uses the latest RFID blocking technology to prevent thieves from scanning your wallet and stealing your info.
Having your information stolen is a nightmare, but with Slim Mint, I know I'm protected.
With money clips, cash can easily fall out, but with the auto-locking Slim Mint, your cards and money stay securely in place. Then just press the button to release the lock. Slim Mint is ergonomically designed to optimize space and keep your belongings organized. It has a built-in cash clip and a flexible outer band to securely fit your additional cards and your extra cash. Even with everything you see here in the Slim Mint, it's still ultra-thin. Bulky wallets are uncomfortable, but the Slim Mint is so compact it fits in any size pocket. Plus, it keeps everything easy to access.
Slim Mint holds everything, from pictures to credit cards, my driver's license. Yeah, it's still so thin.
Say bye-bye to bent cards and damaged magnetic strips. Slim Mint keeps them protected. It's crush-resistant and can really take a beating. Similar wallets sell for over $100. But call or click now and get Slim Mint for just $29.99. Order in the next 5 minutes and you'll get an instant $10 discount. So it's only $19.99. But wait, do Due to rising costs and supply chain shortages, this may be your last chance to get Slim Mint at this low price. There's a strict limit of 3 Slim Mint wallets while supplies last. You still have time to get your very own Slim Mint wallets, but you must act fast. Don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-655-8103. That's 1-800-655-8103. Call or visit slimmintwallet.com. So call 1-800-655-8103 now.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Akam, and we are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. And in the studio this morning is Matt. Matt, thanks so much for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Today's the big day.
It is.
Opening of the Chemung County Fair. How you've been waiting for this for how long?
We've been planning this. We got a late start. We've been planning this for 6 months. We took over as a fair board in January. So,
well, it's probably too late to ask, but are you ready?
As ready as we're going to be.
Okay,
and we're still working hard right up here today to the last minute.
Oh, I'm sure. Now, there's so many changes this year, new this year. That's probably going to be the focus of our interview. But could you tell us a little bit about what's new this year?
Sure. One of the things that I saw in the last couple of years at the fair was there was not a lot of things happening during the day, fair type things.
Right.
From the 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock area, I really wanted to make sure, we as a board, new board, really wanted to make sure that there were things for people to see, hear, do, and eat during that time period. So we focused our concentration on creating an atmosphere of fair type atmosphere with all those things in mind.
And I don't want to jinx you, but it looks like you've succeeded because I mean, I was looking at the schedule; it is overwhelming.
Yeah, we're going to put a heck of a fair on.
Yeah.
We hope that people are showing up here today to see what it's all about because we've worked hard and we're putting forth the effort. So,
yep. And it's today, the 1st, the 2nd, and 3rd. I want to talk about the theme nights or the theme days, I should say.
Sure.
But when you mention getting people there and spend all day, so there's and I would recommend anybody go online to see the full schedule. There's so much to do, and then you look at admission at a time when everybody's complaining about costs for everything. You can get in for $2.
Yeah, we looked at that and said we need to get the general public, the Chemung County and beyond people back to the fairgrounds. And we said the only way to do that is to drop that price, make it affordable, real affordable to come, and give them something free when they come for that $2. So that was our big push.
And let's say someone's out there that says $2, that's too much. I can't believe everybody would say that. Saturday, it's everyone's free.
Yeah, so Saturday we sponsored it. So yeah, Saturday there is no gate charge.
Yeah.
So
That's unbelievable. Good for you, because if you want to get people back to the fair, I can't see a better way of doing it.
Yeah, there's no reason not to come to the Chemung County Fair. We've partnered with C-Tran, and there's tickets available for bus tickets for folks. So it's fantastic. So
what's the reaction been when you broke the news? Because I know you've had numerous news conferences and you've been really forthcoming with everybody about the changes. What's the reaction been?
Completely positive.
Yeah,
it's just amazing the amount of people, both the community and the businesses in the community that have come behind the fair. Our sponsorship from the community has just been unbelievable this year. The outpouring of support has been just fantastic.
Well, we don't even have the time to read all the sponsors, but again, I'd recommend people go to the website because you can tell the business community, the community in general, wants this to succeed.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
they want
And the
to
fair
come
board
back.
that we have, the brand new fair board that we have, 12 active members are all pouring their heart and soul into this, want it to succeed. They've come from all different areas of the community and brought forth all the different ideas that they've heard in their various areas.
Well, and you can tell there's so many different things each day. Let's talk about the theme days. Let's start right today.
Yeah, today is Veterans Day, so any current service people or veterans of the service, there's no gate.
Yeah,
free. It's free. It's free. Yeah, so just come in with some sort of identification that shows that. One guy asked me, "Can I bring my dog tags?" That'll work. Come on in. So
what a great idea, and supporting our veterans, of course. And then Thursday's a big night. That's Senior Day, but it's also
senior being 55. 55 is kind of.
Oh, is that the cutoff?
Yeah,
okay,
that's the cutoff. So yeah.
And we talked to William Lee Golden from the Oak Ridge Boys. He's obviously excited to come back and play the Chemung County Fair, but that's going to be a big day.
Yeah. So one of the things we did talk about was not only bringing a big act like the Oak Ridge Boys in, but a lot of local acts as well. So each day there's going to be at least two local bands playing free on the midway. Wow. And for example, on Thursday we were talking about it. that there are going to be 5 different bands playing at the Chemung County Fairgrounds.
So
Doc
literally something to do all
Cavallero
day.
is going to be on the south end. We have the Brothers Unknown at the north end. There are a couple of young guys. If you want to get into, on today, if you want to get into some heavy metal, the Bowery Boys are playing today before the demo. So
all kinds of music.
Yeah,
Oh, wow, I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, and then tomorrow, like I said, Trevor Clark, Crossroads, Doc Possum at the car show down there, and then the Clark Jackson Band, and then the Oak Ridge Boys.
And the Oak Ridge Boys, I mean, this is their farewell tour, so this is a really big get. And I'm sure that's not that easy to start that process.
No, and it was quite a process to get them, and we are the only New York show that they're coming to. So it's the only New York show on their schedule.
Well, like I said, and William Lee Golden already made it sound like they're going to do Elvira in the theme of Elmira.
Yeah,
and so
that was pretty cool in your interview. Yeah.
So, and also that day, this goes to show how you thought outside the box. There's even bingo hosted by the Elmira Heights American Legion.
Absolutely, yeah.
We
put a huge tent up, and we're going to be hosting bingo throughout the day, dollar boards, and we have additional handicap parking right next to the bingo tent, so folks can come in and walk 20 yards and be ready to play. So.
And how popular have these become? The Demolition Derby is like everybody's favorite.
Yeah, it's one of the big draws for our fair, and many fairs, is the Demolition Derby, and we're proud to continue to sponsor one of those.
Oh, we didn't even mention what Friday's theme day was.
So Friday is first responders.
Okay.
Yeah,
oh, great.
Yeah. So any first responders, again, with credentials, you come in and your gate admission is waived at that point. So.
And then on Saturday is Family Day. Everyone can attend the fair for free.
There is zero gate charge on Saturday. So walk in.
You've got to expect pretty big crowds, I would think.
We're hoping. Yeah. We're hoping. Like I said, we've tried to make it so there's no reason not to check out the Chemung County Fair.
Right. So. And it's important too. I just wanted to highlight while I've got you, the Oak Ridge Boys are playing on Thursday. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. There are still tickets, but people better react somewhat quickly. You don't want to miss out on that.
Yeah. So I think like the first 2 rows in the down on the floor are sold out, but there's plenty of seats left.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
So don't not show up, but I'm saying make sure that you get your tickets so that you can go see the amazing Oak Ridge Boys. And that day as well, Doc Possum, our buddy from Frankly Speaking on the Salvation Army Telethon, he's going to be there, like you mentioned. So many local bands, so many things to do. So let me ask you the toughest question before we go. What are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to seeing the crowds of people come in and walk through and see some of the different things that we've brought to the fair. We've got an artisan village where we have a sawmill, and we have chainsaw carver, and we have a chuck wagon, we have a trapper's cabin, and just a lot of different old school things. And right adjacent from that, we have the Chemung Valley Farmers Museum, which is there's over 4,000 artifacts from local farms and from the 1800s on in there. So if you have never been to the Chemung Valley Farmers Museum, take a walk through that. It's absolutely incredible.
And what's neat about what you're doing, because you mentioned getting the fair feeling back, nothing says summer like a fair, right? I mean, it's synonymous with summer.
It is.
And you have set up something for people to look forward to, because it's gotten to the point where reading the schedule, this may not even be just a one-day event. You might want to go a few times this week. That's how much there is to do.
Absolutely. Depending on your what you're interested in.
Right.
My belief is that you probably will miss something if you come one day. There's that much stuff there from north, south, east, and west.
Is there anything that people, before we go, need to know what they should expect? Just kind of who, what, when, where, and why?
Sure. Yeah. So the gate that you want to come in with, if you're driving, gate 1 is going to be open, and it's free parking on the infield. Okay. So that's going to be the one drive-in gate. If you're bringing a truck and trailer to an event, if you're bringing a tractor or a derby car, you're going to come in gate 5.
Okay.
All the gates will be open, but the rest of the gates will be walk-in gates. There's a lot of free parking around the fairgrounds, but we're going to have free parking also on the infield.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck. I know you guys have put a lot of work into it. I've got the logo's great, by the way.
That's our new logo with our #1 sponsor, Nels Tractor, on it. So we really appreciate them and all our sponsors.
Yes. And I would recommend everybody go online and check out all the sponsors, because so many people are involved to make this a success, and you've been working very hard on it. So best of luck. I know it's going to go great, because there's just too much to do to miss out on the Chemung County Fair.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking. Stay with us.
Enjoy a taste of the Finger Lakes at Hector Hideaway.
With a lunch and dinner menu, we serve a variety of delicious dishes made with locally sourced ingredients. Dine inside or out on the deck for gorgeous lake views and pair your meal with a local wine, beer, or beverage. We're open until 9 p.m. Thursday through Monday, but the bar is open until midnight Fridays and Saturdays. Stay tuned for live music. Visit us today at Hector Hideaway.
If you or one regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, you may be entitled to significant financial compensation.
I've used hair relaxers for years. I had no idea they could cause cancer.
Chemical hair relaxers and straighteners have been linked to serious conditions, including several types of cancer.
How do I know if I have a case?
Call 844-292-6222 and consult with one of our attorneys to find out if the products you used are part of the lawsuit. Your eligibility will also depend on how often you use these hair products and your specific cancer diagnosis. If you regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, call us now. Call 844-292-6222.
How much will it cost to talk to an attorney?
There is no fee unless we win your case. Call 844-292-6222 for your free case review.
What's up, guys? What I'm about to show you is going to change the way you shave your head forever.
You can shave your head in 90 seconds or less.
With no cuts or nicks. It's 100% waterproof.
It even works in the shower.
Introducing Remington's Balder Boss. With increased flex and 5 dual-track floating head design, get over 60% more head coverage for a faster, closer shave and skin-close results.
No nicks, no scrapes. Fit in the palm of my hand, and the results were amazing.
Shave in the shower or with any foam or gel. With Japanese-grade steel blades, plow through the thickest of hair. Anytime, anywhere. There's even a pop-up trimmer to complete your perfect groove. Now, you can try the Remington Balder Boss in your home for 30 days for just $14.99. Complete with a 5-year limited warranty and 100% satisfaction guarantee. You can also get our ear, nose, and brow trimmer free. Just pay separate processing and handling.
Give it a try. You won't be disappointed.
Order your Balder Boss.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox, broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. And we're not done talking about this Chemung County Fair because I forgot a lot of things. And so now we're being joined by Mark. Mark, thanks for being back on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
We missed so much, so tell him that that's my fault. I'm the interviewer. I'm supposed to remember. So tell us about, there's a lot involved with 4-H and horse shows and also horse race. Tell us about that.
Yeah, on Wednesday from 12 to 4, we're going to have the Sire Stakes come in. And actually it's going to be a big year. They said they got 14 races coming with up to 65 horses.
Wow, so that's an all-day section of the
well,
day,
we'll have to be done by 6 for the demo, well, but yeah, it's going to go right into that, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll be very close. And you also have, and this is a big part on your website, the Chemung County Fair Horse Show itself. What's that?
Yes, what there is you'll see probably a couple hundred horses at one end doing dressage, western, all different types. It's 4-H kids and others coming in and showing their stuff on how they can ride horses.
Yeah. And now we don't have as much time because I think we covered everything except for that part, but I got to ask you the same question, and only fair. What are you looking forward to the most?
I just want to see people come and have fun.
Yeah.
I want to see them come back and enjoy the fair. I think Saturdays, I hope to break 10,000 people coming, if not more. It's going to be free, tractor pulls for the kids, rodeos for the kids. They got them trophies.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's going to be a lot of nice stuff for kids to do that's not going to cost your family.
And that's all day Saturdays free. But even if you can't make a Saturday, it's only $2 admission any day you go.
Yes, it's
so it's not.
We want people in.
Yeah.
Yep, we want to get people coming back, and I think we're up to almost 58 vendors.
Oh, wow!
Last year, I think we dealt 10 or 12, so we've tripled.
So there's going to be so much to do, and I really think if people go today, Wednesday, they go and they see how much fun it is and how much there's to do and how much music. I don't see them just going one day for $2.
We hope it takes 2 to 3 days to get through if you want to see everything.
Yeah, wow. Well, best of luck. Thanks so much for filling us in, and I apologize for the past for not bringing up the horses.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you for having us.
Yep. All right, we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking.
Looks like y'all got a lot of stuff here in your water.
You're never gonna believe it, but this can filter up to 60 different contaminants from your water.
It's all about cleaner drinking water.
Dude, that's good water.
And that's good water.
Now that's good water.
That's good water, eh?
No matter where you live, there's a Culligan water expert nearby. At Culligan, we think about your water, so you don't have to.
Call today to schedule your free water test.
Oak Ridge Boys American-made farewell tour. Celebrating 50-plus years of touring. The legendary Oak Ridge Boys. August 1st, the Chemung County Fair. Reserve seats on sale now at ChemungCountyFair.com or the Fair box office. The Oak Ridge Boys, American-made farewell tour.
We are back with Frankly Speaking, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Thank you to Matt Bryant and Mark Watts. I hope everybody can make it out to the Chemung County Fair. And if you do, let me know. I'd love to hear what you think of the Oak Ridge Boys or just in general, the fun events surrounding the Chemung County Fair. Now, buckle up. We have a lot of time together. We breezed through some breaks there. Let's start with a comment from a viewer. Knowing that the public will not know what the results is for Harris's nomination. Yeah, because it's going to be done online. Lack of transparency. Anyway, and thinking of this in conjunction with the Democrat closed-door passing of Obamacare, don't you think that it's fair to say that the Democrats are not only wishy-washy, but also scary and deceptively secretive? What is it that they want to hide? You know, that ties back in with what we were talking about with this Supreme Court reform. They loved getting through unpopular laws that they know the American people would not support through the court systems. That's one of the reasons why they're so upset. And that ties in. And as I said, buckle up. This is a little bit of a lengthy piece, but highly worth it, from Michael Goodwin this morning. And he says, as Michael Kinsley defined it, a gaffe occurs when a politician accidentally tells the truth. Joe Biden passed the test when he explained why he was pushing a radical overhaul of the Supreme Court. It's because Donald Trump made him do it. As Biden might say, no joke, I'm serious. The cognitively challenged president has been shoved to the back of the bus after being driven out of the race by undemocratic Democrats, which is perhaps why he admitted the truth. Whatever the reason, Biden's confession on Monday captures the cause of the turmoil that has reshaped American public life in the last 9 years. Starting in 2015, Trump's political rise set off a chain reaction of lunacy and hatred, the likes of which we have not seen in modern times. From politics to academia, from culture to media, and including even law enforcement and religion, the gatekeepers of the old order ripped away the guardrails they once treated as holy writ and that helped to keep the nation intact despite its differences. The gatekeepers turned destroyers cited Trump as the justification for giving themselves license to abolish limits on their own words and actions. Claiming he would smash norms, they smashed norms, and they haven't stopped. And a viewer had made this exact same point a while ago. It's as if they adopted as a motto an infamous military line from the Vietnam War. We had to destroy the village to save it. To the Trump haters, he is so uniquely bad and dangerous that any means necessary to stop him is acceptable. Again, this is Michael Goodwin from the New York Post. Would-be assassin Thomas Crooks certainly got that message. And so did the renegade media outlets that claimed Trump wasn't actually hit with a bullet and that his ear bandage was all theater. You could also tie in Christopher Wray with that from the FBI. Once again, the tech companies did their underhanded part to distort public opinion. Search engines at Google and Meta have been caught suppressing the facts and photos that don't fit their politics because, again, they know how powerful that photo is. They show what kind of warrior, what kind of fight Trump has, and they can't stand it. But I'll continue. Meta's AI assistant went so far as to claim the attempt to murder Trump was fictional. Anybody who still doesn't believe in Trump derangement syndrome and its destructive effects isn't paying attention. And yes, think about the fact that an assassination attempt on a former president has been really relegated to no news or very little news on your nightly news. But I'll continue. Consider the actions of the Democrat prosecutors who rewrote national history by using law enforcement and the courts to charge and try a former president. It's the stuff of banana republics, but they haven't stopped even though he is now the opposition party's presidential candidate. Fearful he'll win, they're still trying to get one more trial in before the election. Trump is no angel, but are there no limits to their jihad against him? Michael Goodwin says he believes it began back in 2016 when the New York Times abandoned any kind of standard of fairness, and I have referenced this numerous times on the program. Jim Rutenberg began a column by saying, quote, "If you're a working journalist and you believe that Donald J. Trump is a demagogue playing to the nation's worst racist and nationalistic tendencies, that he cozies up to anti-American dictators, and that he should be dangerous, or he would be dangerous with control of the United States nuclear codes, how the heck are you supposed to cover him?" Under ethics guidelines of most major media, anyone with that kind of bias would not be permitted to cover Trump. But that's not how the then editor of the Times saw it. The then editor, Dean Banquet, said the column nailed it and convinced him that the struggle for fairness was over. Banquet saying, "At the time, I think that Trump has ended that struggle. I think we now say stuff, we fact check him, we write it more powerfully that it's false." Banquet is too modest. He, not Trump, ended the struggle over fairness. He did it by letting every so-called reporter express an opinion. Many of them openly called Trump a liar from that day forward. Banquet is no longer the editor, but his decision shapes the Times we see today. Every supposed news article drips with opinion. And I would say it's not just the Times. Michael Goodwin writes for a newspaper, so he's focused more on the print. But I'd say you see it on the CNN. I've mentioned this numerous times in the program. You go to CNN's website right now, you would think it was Harris's campaign website. It's a reminder that once standards are eliminated, they're not easy to restore. Sadly, other outlets have followed the Times over the fairness cliff. The widespread collapse of public trust in major media has been the inevitable results. Nor is it a coincidence that the Obama-Biden administration also went down its own corrupt road in 2016 to block Trump. Recall, it used the CIA and FBI to spy on him and try to stop him from beating Hillary. In 2020, the Biden campaign tapped its deep state contacts again to protect Joe by calling the disclosure on son Hunter's laptop a Russian plant. So now half the country doesn't trust either of those essential institutions. Nice work, Democrats. Yet the Trump haters haven't backed off because their strategy works often enough. Biden, for example, claimed in his Monday speech that he was forced to call for radical changes to the Supreme Court because the GOP has, quote, weaponized the confirmation process. That would be hilarious if it weren't backward. What he really means is that the GOP under Trump had the votes to confirm 3 nominations. See, when Republicans gain power, the rules have to change because Democrats are always entitled to win. And if you're just joining us, this again, Michael Goodwin. If Biden were telling the whole story, he would admit that the confirmation requirements were first lowered under former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, a Democrat, when Biden was vice president. Reid worked with the White House, did it to get more Democrat nominees on the court. Republicans at the time warned Reid he would regret the power play. Reid has since died, but his successor, they're escalating again by coming directly for the Supremes, proving they are still willing to tear down the nation's most trusted institutions if they don't get their way. And if you recall, it was always said at the time when Trump was in office that he was destroying the norms and destroying our institutions. Thus, Biden, after protesting that, quote, "I have great respect for our institutions and the separation of powers laid out in our Constitution," claimed that extremism is undermining the public confidence in the court's decisions. Not surprisingly, that extremism amounts to Supreme Court rulings Democrats don't like. His remedy is to replace lifetime tenure with 18-year term limits, a constitutional amendment to overrule the immunity finding, and an enforceable code of conduct for the justices. Biden's plan is little more than a campaign device so Harris can run on something other than her awful record. But the larger truth is that the plan is the latest example of Trump haters using him as an excuse to do the things they once said could never be done or should never be done, and managing to keep a straight face while accusing him of destroying American political life. I thought that was a very powerful piece by Michael Goodwin, and that's what I wanted to bring to you. And since we had a little extra time this morning, I thought it appropriate. Now let's talk about J.D. Vance. We've received some comments from you, and I appreciate it. The media is in full attack mode on J.D. Vance. You have Bill Press at the Hill. He writes, pardon me, got a frog in my throat. Hold on. He says, as any father would tell you, as much as we always try to support our kids, there are times when you have to tell them, look, you know I love you, but on this matter, you're just plain wrong. And that's what he says Trump should have said to Trump Jr., because many speculated that it was his friendship, Trump Jr.'s friendship with J.D. Vance, kind of catapulted J.D. Vance over some more, for lack of a better word, tested politicians. But as many people have said on this program, that wasn't the case. It was looking for someone that was there for the forgotten men and women of the country, not the politicians. And I had speculated at the time it was an assassination attempt where Trump said, you know what? And we had viewers say this too. We're going to do this our way. We're going to do it the right way for the American people. Now, Bill Press says, what a mistake. Vance is the least impressive and most damaging vice presidential nominee since Sarah Palin. Now, don't you think that's funny that this goes to show you the bias, that Palin was damaging to McCain? How many people, and you can weigh in on this if you'd like, how many people voted for that ticket just because of Palin? McCain, another example, just like Mitt Romney, just like Jeb Bush, the list can go on and on, where the Republican elites told Republicans that this is our only chance of winning. And what would happen every time? They would lose. It's the same elites that the Republicans got frustrated with and fed up with and decided, never mind what you keep telling us that's wrong every single time. Like Bill Kristol, remember him? He got every single prediction wrong in that election. He said Trump would be out before Iowa. And yet he's still confident enough to go out there and make wrong predictions over and over again. But it's people like that where Republicans said enough is enough. We're going with the winner. Not the Jeb Bush that you keep telling us about, that it's got to be our only chance of beating Hillary. We saw this play out where the Republicans said enough. Enough of the ways of always doing things and losing. Republicans have a history of liking to lose, the elites anyway. That's why I'm surprised, because that was really, Trump was part of that, we define the Republican Party now, not the elites. That's why I'm surprised the Democrats don't take up a similar mantle as first with Bernie not having a chance because the system was fixed against Hillary. Hillary was going to win. And now we see Harris getting the nomination without a single Democrat vote for her nomination. I would think that they'd eventually say enough with the party elites, the kingpins telling us what to do. But again, Democrats may just be used to it because there's a history there of the Democrat elites not trusting their own voters. They don't trust the American voter, but they don't, specifically if you narrow it down, they don't trust their own voter. We'll continue. He says, Bill Press, that Vance isn't even as lively and funny and capable as Palin. Did anybody on the Trump campaign bother to check Vance's acid comments about Trump in the past? And I don't want to go through all this because they keep pointing to the cat lady comment, which you've heard over and over again. But what he says is even the country's most powerful conservative media outlet, the Wall Street Journal editorial board, recoiled at Vance's catless ladies comment. I think this is supposed to say cat ladies comment, but calling it the sort of smart aleck crack that appeals to white men but turns off the suburban women Republicans need to win. Trump made his first big mistake by nominating J.D. Vance. He's making his second by keeping him on the ticket. On his pick for VP, it's time for Trump to do what reportedly he often does on the golf course. Take a mulligan. Dump Vance. Pick somebody else. Okay. Here's another prime example. This is why I had so much issue with Nikki Haley. Not Nikki Haley necessarily the person, like Nikki Haley, but the reason I didn't like her candidacy. Because when you have people that never want to see a Republican win ever again, and specifically not Trump, we're supposed to listen to him when he tells us to pick a different VP. That should raise some huge red flags there. Also, the cheap line in there about Trump often taking a mulligan, I would highlight it again. Highly recommend you watch DeChambeau not take on Trump. It's DeChambeau playing with Trump online, that 18 holes of golf, trying to break under 50. Yes, under 50. No one believes me when I say it, but that's the rules of the game because they're playing captain and crew. Anyway, so when someone tells you that when these media elites are telling you that Vance is a bad pick, sit back because it means most likely Trump made exactly the right pick. This is how bad it's gotten against Vance. And I'm asking your opinion on Vance at any point, please. MSNBC political analyst Molly Jong-Fast argued that J.D. Vance's recently unearthed comments criticizing childless cat ladies reveals that Vance has a racist vision for America. Now, you might not like what Vance said. You may say, boy, this is going to dominate the news cycle and it's annoying. Maybe you just don't think it was at all ever a good message. That's fine. But did you read racism in it? During an appearance on none other than Morning Joe, of course, Jong-Fast was asked to respond to Vance's politically damaging comments. Jong-Fast reacted, "What's interesting is this natalism that comes from an Arthurian playbook, right?" I like how everybody in the media now says right at the end of things. White children, right? That's the idea. That there need to be more white children, right? That's the idea. This is about great replacement theory racism, right? This is what this is. So don't misunderstand it for him wanting more children. He wants a certain kind of racist thing. So if you thought it had been a while since you heard all the charges of racist dog whistle for everything that's said by a Republican, well, if it has been put on the back burner, it's back with a vengeance. So you may not like, and I can understand it, J.D. Vance's comments, because this gives the media something to focus on, though they're going to attack him over anything. You may not like that comment, but now it's even more so a bad comment than it is a racist dog whistle. James Carville saying the cat lady thing will haunt Vance. You can't get, and here we go, weirder. Everybody's getting their talking points. They're not weird. They're over the top. J.D. Vance is for something called... I don't want to go through all this. Why am I reading James Carville? We're spending too much time reading James Carville lately. How am I doing? I'm doing good on time. We got a couple of comments coming in. I don't have any more breaks. I took them all. Yes, yes, you said this before I did. In full disclosure, this viewer said this before I did. The fact that they're slamming Vance so hard means that Trump picked the right guy for the job. Good point. Yeah, it's very much on the other side of the coin, like when they were supporting Nikki Haley so much, because any party's got to pay attention to this, that if there's a group, in this case specifically the media, that does not want to see Trump win, why would we listen to them when they give Trump talking points or give Trump ideas on how to quote-unquote win? This comment from a viewer: when the Democrats get tongue-tied, they always fall back on the race card. I don't even know if it was tongue-tied. I mean, I think she went in there, and I think this is what is very common on shows like Morning Joe and MSNBC. They think they're coming up with something very brilliant that will be quoted not only over and over again currently, but perhaps even for the history books. So, there you go. Enough on J.D. Vance. I mentioned this a few times during the program, but the FBI admits yesterday that to Congress that Trump was struck by a bullet after initially casting doubts, because there's nothing like in these divided times making sure to fan the flames of more conspiracy theories. We saw from Joy Reid early on after the assassination attempt kind of the read between the lines. Maybe he didn't get hit. Maybe the whole thing was a setup. We started seeing conspiracy theories right out of the gate. Some people saying, well, maybe he did it to help his campaign, which is just despicable. I think people, that one person dead, that would be the case. But this is going back to what Michael Goodwin said, that nothing is off limits with their anger and their hatred. The FBI affirmed yesterday before Congress that Trump was struck by a bullet in that assassination attempt after initially casting doubt on the object that hit him in a hearing last week. Quote, and to former President Trump, who was also struck by a bullet fired from the shooter's rifle, FBI Deputy Director Paul Abbott said, no, the agency is treating the assassination attempt as domestic terrorism. Now, this is after Christopher Wray raised doubts just the other day. Wray had sat there. Well, I'm not going to quote him. But as Trump's spokesperson Stephen Chung said at the time, anyone who believes this conspiracy will say baloney is either mentally deficient or willfully peddling falsehoods for political reasons. We have seen there is no depth low enough for the Biden-Harris administration, so it's not surprising they are doing this now. Trump speculated that maybe, this was during a radio program called Sid and Friends in the Morning, he speculated that maybe he was shot due to claims that he's a threat to democracy. They say I'm not democratic. I'm not democratic. I'm a threat to democracy. It's just a soundbite. It means nothing to them to say it. Maybe it's the reason I was shot. Who knows? Rhetorically, it's a terrible thing to say about somebody like me, but they say it all the time. Now, we also learned during this from the deputy director, Abbott, I think we're experienced a range of returns because some of the applications that he was using online were encrypted in nature. The FBI has gained access to some of his emails, but some of the encrypted communications remained undecipherable. Graham, was this Lindsey Graham maybe? I don't know who Graham is who was asking this question. But Graham said if he were talking to some foreign power, and I don't think any foreign power would hire this guy, by the way, so I'm not overly worried. But if this was some great ploy or plot by the Iranians, how do we solve this? Abbey said, Senator, you know, as we've been saying, we need a solution that provides lawful access. Here's a good point from a viewer. Talk about weird, since weird is the word of the day. How about Harris doing nothing about the border for 4 years? I would say that is weird. That is a very good point. Weird. Wow, all these waves coming in. Then, weird. Yeah, it's and I appreciate your joke. It is getting tedious, especially when it gets to the point where Governor Hochul is using it. That's when you start to realize that maybe it's run its course. We are out of time, and I've got other comments coming in. But Trump urges supporters to go after Meta and Google over their alleged assassination attempt censorship, like we keep saying. That was such a powerful image. They don't want this. It's why the media doesn't talk about it anymore. I expected at least 5 takeaways from the FBI talking to Congress yesterday about the assassination attempt on CNN. Nothing. There was nothing there. But he said, yeah, go after the big tech companies. Now, I love that the big tech companies say no bias at all, just a pure accident. And you say, how is it always an accident, an innocent accident, but only going one political way? Isn't that interesting? Trump also said on Tuesday he thinks that the White House, they're being made by a group, the decisions are being made by a group of fascist, communists, and Marxists. I'm the opposition of a threat to democracy. They're a threat to democracy. I mean, look at what they just did, talking about the coup that put Harris in with not a single vote by a Democrat. Now, we are out of time. Hey, here's just something as a quick note. The Daily Mail did this expose on Barron Trump, the youngest son of Donald Trump, and interviewed some of his classmates. What did we learn? He is funny, sociable, and mysterious. How can he be all those 3 things? Anyway, that does it for today's edition of Frankly Speaking. Thank you to Matt Bryant and Mark Watts for telling us all about the Chemung County Fair. If you're able to make it out, please let me know how much fun it is. It looks great. I'm going to try to make it out at some point this week. Just so much to do, so much to see. I know the Oak Ridge Boys will put on a great show if that is up your alley. Highly, highly recommend it. On tomorrow's program, we're going to be talking to members of the cast of Into the Woods coming up this weekend at the Haverling High School Auditorium, actually starting tomorrow. So we'll be talking to them on opening day on their first performance. Have a great day, everyone. We will see you tomorrow morning. Thank you for all the comments. Great discussions this morning. We will talk to you tomorrow morning, bright and early, starting at 6 a.m. with Frankly Speaking, only on WYDC TV. Big Fox, we will see you then. I look forward to it already.
The Oak Ridge Boys. is American-made farewell tour. Celebrating 50-plus years of touring. The legendary Oak Ridge Boys. August 1st, the Chemung County Fair. Reserve seats on sale now at ChemungCountyFair.com or the Fair box office. The Oak Ridge Boys. American-made farewell tour.